room went silent the moment Daniel Harper stood up. Forks hovered midair. Chairs stopped scraping. Even the hum of conversation died. "I'm not okay with this," he said, his voice steady but tight. "You always choose him, and tonight I'm finally saying something." His father froze at the head of the table. His younger brother stared, stunned. And for the first time in 34 years, Daniel didn't back down. "Let me ask you something before we go any further. How long can a person stay quiet before silence starts destroying them?" Stay with me. Before we continue, subscribe to Echoes and Struggles. These are not just stories, they are mirrors. And this one might show you something you've been carrying for years. Daniel Harper was 34 years old, living in Columbus, Ohio, a project manager, reliable, organized, responsible. The kind of man people trusted instantly. He lived alone in a modest townhouse, kept his clothes neatly pressed, paid his bills early, and showed up wherever he was needed. Work, family, friends. On paper, Daniel was successful, but inside there was a familiar ache he never spoke about. He was the older son, the dependable one, the one who never caused trouble, and his younger brother, Ethan, had always been the opposite. Ethan was charming, impulsive, loud, and endlessly forgiving. The kind of son who failed loudly and was caught gently every time. Their father, Robert Harper, never announced he had a favorite. He didn't have to. Daniel felt it in the pauses, in the lowered expectations, in the praise that skipped over him and landed somewhere else. So Daniel learned to earn love by being useful, and that lesson followed him everywhere. Years passed. Daniel worked harder, achieved more, asked for less. But money couldn't fix what fairness never existed to begin with. The breaking point came on a Sunday family dinner, the kind Daniel almost skipped. Their father cleared his throat. "I've decided to invest in Ethan's business," Robert said proudly. Daniel's stomach dropped. Ethan grinned. Their mother smiled politely. Daniel waited. Surely there would be balance, recognition, something. But there wasn't. Just admiration, just faith, just unconditional support. Daniel remembered the night he'd asked for help with a down payment. Not charity, partnership. "Figure it out yourself," his father had said then. Now, standing in the same room, Daniel felt something harden. He pushed his chair back. "I need air." Outside, the sky hung heavy with clouds. His chest felt tight, not with anger, but exhaustion. "Let me pause here and ask you, have you ever been strong for so long that no one noticed you were tired? If that's you, type "I feel this" in the comments. And before we go on, like this video if you believe quiet pain deserves a voice, because Daniel wasn't walking away this time. Later that evening, Daniel stayed behind to help clean up. His father stood at the sink washing dishes. "Dad," Daniel said, "can we talk?" Robert sighed. "What's wrong now?" Daniel swallowed. "I've spent my whole life trying to earn something you give freely to Ethan." The water stopped running. "I don't need your money," Daniel continued. "I needed your fairness. I needed to know I mattered too." Robert bristled. "You're overreacting. Ethan just needs more help." Daniel shook his head. "No, Ethan gets more grace. I get more pressure." His voice didn't rise, but it didn't retreat either. "For the first time," Daniel said quietly, "I'm done shrinking to keep the peace." The room felt different, not louder, heavier. And in that moment, Daniel realized something powerful. Standing up for yourself doesn't require permission. The change wasn't instant, but it was real. Daniel stopped explaining himself, stopped absorbing guilt that wasn't his. He reconnected with friends, mentored a younger coworker who reminded him of himself, capable, invisible, overlooked. He even reached out to Ethan, not with blame, with honesty. "I don't hate you, I just won't compete anymore." Weeks later, his father called. "I didn't see it," Robert admitted quietly, "but I should have." It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. And Daniel learned something most people never do. Boundaries don't break families. They reveal who's willing to grow. A year later, Daniel stood in a home he bought on his own terms. No approval, no comparison, just peace. His niece laughed in the living room. Dinner warmed on the stove, and for the first time, Daniel felt light. Not because he was chosen, but because he chose himself. So let me ask you, are you staying silent to be loved, or standing so you can breathe? Are you building towers of approval or bridges of truth? If this story spoke to you, comment below. I choose myself. Like this video to help others find their voice. Share it with someone who needs courage today, and subscribe to Echoes and Struggles, where stories don't just entertain, they heal. Because real strength isn't rebellion, it's honesty, and your voice was never the problem.